The words hit me like ice water. Family only means blood family, no outsiders. My father-in-law Marcus's smile never wavered as he delivered the blow, but I felt the champagne flute grow slippery in my suddenly numb fingers. Around me, brochures for their dream Mediterranean cruise covered the coffee table, the 20th anniversary trip Linda had talked about for years, finally within reach because I'd made it possible. The silence stretched as they waited for my response. 8 years of marriage to their son Brian, 2 miscarriages they'd never acknowledged, countless family dinners where I'd been treated like hired help. And now this, the ultimate confirmation of what I'd always suspected but never wanted to believe. My name is Sarah, I'm 34 and a marketing executive. This is the story of how I learned the true cost of belonging. I understand, I managed, setting down my glass with surgical precision. So Brian goes, but I stay home. Don't be dramatic, Jessica chimed in, examining her manicured nails like we were discussing the weather. It's not personal. You're just not really a Coleman. The casual cruelty of it took my breath away. Not really a Coleman. After 8 years of trying to earn my place at their table, of biting my tongue through their passive-aggressive comments, of funding their lifestyle while they questioned whether I belonged, Brian walked in from the kitchen just as his sister finished her pronouncement. What's going on? We're explaining to Sarah about the cruise, Linda said smoothly, how it's for family only. I watched my husband's face, waiting for the defense that never came. Instead, he shrugged. It's their anniversary, Sarah. Their choice. Their choice. Like I was a wedding +1, not his wife. Like the last 8 years meant nothing. Of course, I said, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. Your celebration, your rules. Marcus looked pleased, like I'd finally learned my place. Knew you'd understand. Besides, someone needs to watch the house while we're gone. You wouldn't mind, would you? Not at all, I replied, already pulling out my phone. In fact, let me help with something right now. They watched as I scrolled through my contacts, Linda probably thinking I was offering to house-sit properly, maybe water her precious orchids. The irony was about to become crystal clear. Oceania Cruises VIP desk? Yes, this is Sarah Coleman, account number 447829. I kept my voice pleasant, professional. I need to discuss the Mediterranean dream booking for next month. Marcus frowned. What are you doing? I held up a finger. Yes, that's correct. The booking for 8 people. The one with the $25,000 deposit. I'd like to cancel it, please. The room went silent except for the customer service representative confirming the cancellation. I watched their faces shift from confusion to horror as the reality sank in. What? Linda's voice came out as a squeak. You can't. Actually, I can, I said, still on the phone. Yes, please process the full cancellation. Credit back to the card on file. Perfect. Thank you. I hung up and smiled at their shocked faces. That was your cruise. That was our cruise, Marcus roared, his face turning an alarming shade of red. No, I corrected calmly. That was my cruise, paid for with my credit card from my company's year-end bonus. You know, the job you always call playing on computers? The silence was deafening. 8 years of their condescension, of being treated like an interloper in my own marriage, crystallized into this perfect moment of reckoning. But we planned everything, Linda stammered. The whole family was going... The whole family minus one outsider, I reminded her. So now the whole family can stay home together. Won't that be nice? Jessica jumped up. This is insane. Brian, control your wife. Brian stood frozen, his mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. Sarah, you paid for the cruise? Every penny, I confirmed. Did you think your parents suddenly had $25,000 lying around? Your dad's been retired for 5 years and your mom spends her pension on home shopping networks. The truth hung in the air like smoke. I'd been their secret benefactor for years, the invisible hand that made their dreams possible, while they treated me like I didn't belong. You vindictive little, Marcus started. Careful, I warned. Vindictive outsiders might also mention the family reunion in Vegas I paid for, or Jessica's destination wedding in Cabo, or the down payment on Amy's house. You didn't pay for Amy's house, Linda protested weakly. Check with Amy, I suggested. Ask her where that mysterious $50,000 in savings came from. While you're at it, ask her why she needed it. Something about credit card debt from her husband's failed restaurant. Brian sank onto the couch like his legs had given out. How much? How much have you spent on my family over the years? I pretended to think. Between the vacations, the emergencies, the loans that were never repaid, the gifts for events I was barely welcome at, about $200,000. The collective gasp was music to my ears. But you never said anything, Jessica whispered. Because I thought that's what family did, I said. Silly me. I thought 8 years of generosity might earn me a seat at the table. Or at least on the anniversary cruise I funded. We'll pay you back, Marcus said stiffly. I actually laughed. With what? Your Social Security? Linda's jewelry collection she had to sell last year when you couldn't make the mortgage. Oh yes, I know about that too. Who do you think covered the difference? Linda turned on her son, her face white with shock. You let your wife pay our mortgage? I didn't know, Brian protested. Sarah, why didn't you tell me? Because every time I tried to discuss family finances, you said it wasn't my place. Remember? That's between me and my parents, Sarah. Don't interfere with family matters, Sarah. You wouldn't understand our dynamic, Sarah. The weight of those dismissals, of years of being shut out while simultaneously paying for everything, crashed over me. I stood up, gathering my purse with newfound clarity. Well, now I'm officially not interfering. Your parents need a new anniversary plan? Not my problem. Jessica needs money for her next scheme? Not my problem. Amy needs another bailout? Definitely not my problem. You can't just cut us off, Jessica shrieked. I'm not cutting you off, I said calmly. I'm accepting my place as an outsider. Outsiders don't pay for family vacations. They don't cover family debts. They don't sacrifice their savings for people who treat them like unwelcome guests. This is about more than money, Linda said coldly. You've never fit in. You don't understand our traditions. Your tradition of taking my money while treating me like dirt? I interrupted. You're right, I don't understand it, and I'm done trying to. I headed for the door, then paused. Oh, Brian, I'll be at the Marriott tonight. The executive suite's already paid for, so I might as well use it. You can join me when you decide whether you're married to me or to your family's bank account. Sarah, wait. No, I said firmly. I've waited 8 years for you to defend me, to tell them I'm not an outsider, to act like I'm your wife instead of your ATM. I'm done waiting. If you leave now, Marcus threatened, you're never welcome in this house again. Promise? I asked. Because that sounds like the best anniversary gift you could give me. I walked out, ignoring the chaos erupting behind me. My phone started buzzing immediately. Brian, then Linda, then Jessica, then Amy from 3 states away. Word traveled fast in the Coleman family when the money tap turned off. I ignored them all and called my lawyer instead. Margaret? It's Sarah. Remember that post-nuptial agreement we discussed? I think it's time to draft it. After ending the call with Margaret, I drove to the Marriott downtown, my mind clearer than it had been in years. By the time I reached the hotel, my phone showed 47 missed calls. I turned it off and checked in using my corporate card, the successful marketing company I'd built while the Colemans called it a hobby. The executive suite was gorgeous. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, a bathroom bigger than Linda's beloved orchid room, champagne chilling in a silver bucket. I poured myself a glass and stepped onto the balcony. When I powered my phone back on for business emails, it immediately exploded with texts. Amy, is it true you paid my down payment? Mom says you're lying. Jessica, this is theft. We'll sue. Marcus, no granddaughter of mine would behave this way. That last one made me laugh. Granddaughter. I wasn't even a daughter-in-law to them. An hour later, my phone buzzed with a text from Brian. I'm in the lobby. Can we talk? I considered it. 8 years of marriage, 2 lost babies he'd grieved with me even if his family hadn't. The man who'd promised to love and cherish me, but forgot the part about forsaking all others when others meant his family. Room 812, I texted back. He arrived looking haggard, still in the same clothes from dinner. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Which part? I asked, not moving from the balcony. That they treated me like an outsider, or that I was bankrolling their lifestyle while they did it? Both, he admitted, sinking into a chair. Mom's crying. Dad's threatening to disown me. Jessica's calling every lawyer in town. He paused. And Amy called to say thank you. She's been carrying guilt for 2 years, thinking Mom and Dad had sacrificed their savings for her. She had no idea it was you. At least someone appreciates it. I appreciate it, Brian said. I never saw it. They're my parents. I thought their little comments were just personality conflicts. Brian, your mother introduced me at your company party last month as Brian's wife, the one who does computer things. I'm the CMO of a 50-person company. He winced. I know. Do you? Because when she said it, you laughed. I was uncomfortable. You were complicit, I corrected. Every time you stayed silent, you agreed with them. I wasn't family. I was just the woman you happened to marry who inexplicably kept paying for everything. What do you want me to do? He asked desperately. Cut them off? Never speak to them again? I want you to choose, I said simply. Either I'm your family, your primary family, or I'm not. Either we're a unit that makes decisions together, or we're not. Either you defend me like a husband should, or you don't. They're my parents, he said weakly, and I'm your wife, the one who held your hand through your surgery, who supported you when you changed careers, who paid for your parents' dream cruise while they called me an outsider. Brian was quiet for a long moment. Then, can I see the receipts? What? The receipts for everything you've paid for. I want to see them. I pulled out my phone and opened the folder I'd been keeping, because of course I kept records. I'm a businesswoman after all. I handed it to him and watched his face pale as he scrolled. 213,000, he whispered, in 8 years, plus the cruise they just lost. He looked up at me, and for the first time in years, I saw him actually seeing me. You never said anything. I tried. You didn't want to hear it. No, he admitted. I didn't. We sat in silence, the city lights twinkling below us. Finally, Brian stood up. I need to go talk to them, he said. My heart sank. Of course. Back to Mommy and Daddy. But first, he continued, I need to know if you'll consider couples counseling and a financial advisor, and maybe a therapist just for me, to figure out why I've been such a blind idiot. I blinked. What? You're right about all of it. I've been a terrible husband. I let them treat you like an outsider while you were the only one actually acting like family. Real family doesn't keep score or demand gratitude. They just help, like you've been doing. He took a shaky breath. I'm going to tell them that until they apologize. Really apologize, not just because they want your money. They won't be seeing either of us. And if they can't accept you as family, then I guess I'll be an outsider too. I stared at him. You do that? I should have done it 8 years ago. He paused. The question is, will you give me a chance to do it now? I thought about it. 8 years of frustration and hurt, but also 8 years of love, laughter, shared dreams. The man who'd helped me through miscarriages, who'd celebrated my business successes, who'd made me laugh even on my worst days. Counseling, I said finally, and a postnuptial agreement. And your parents don't get another penny from me unless it's a genuine gift that we both agree on. Deal, he said immediately. Can I stay tonight, or should I get my own room? I poured a second glass of champagne and handed it to him. Stay. But you're calling your parents first, on speaker. He winced, but pulled out his phone. Marcus answered on the first ring. Brian, did you talk sense into her? We need to rebook that cruise before... Dad. Brian's voice was firm. I need you to listen very carefully. Sarah is my wife, my family. If you can't treat her with the respect she deserves, the respect she's more than earned, then you won't be seeing either of us. The silence was deafening. You're choosing her over us? Linda's voice was shrill in the background. I'm choosing my marriage, Brian corrected. The way I should have from the beginning. Sarah has been more family to you than I have. She's the one who saved your house, Dad. She's the one who rescued Amy from bankruptcy, Mom. And you called her an outsider." "That money came from you," Marcus protested. "No, Dad, it didn't. I make good money, but not that good. Every gift from us, that was Sarah. Every vacation, Sarah. Every bailout, Sarah. And you couldn't even include her in your anniversary cruise." "We'll pay her back," Linda said weakly. "I don't want your money," I called out. "I want an apology, a real one. And I want to be treated like what I am, your son's wife, your daughter-in-law, family." "Or what?" Marcus blustered. "Or nothing," I said simply. "Brian and I will live our lives, and you'll live yours, separately. Your choice." Brian ended the call and looked at me. That was terrifying. That was overdue. We spent the night talking, really talking for the first time in years, about money, about family, about boundaries, about the children we still hope to have, and how we'd never let them treat their spouses the way I'd been treated. The next morning brought dozens of messages. I ignored most, but one stood out. Amy. "Sarah, I just wanted to say thank you, not just for the money, but for finally standing up to them. Maybe now things can change. You've always been my favorite sister-in-law. Actually, you've been my only real sister." I smiled and showed it to Brian. "She's right," he said. "You've been the best part of this family. I'm sorry it took losing a cruise for me to defend that." "Better late than never." "So what now?" he asked. "Do we wait for them to apologize?" "We live our lives," I said, "together, as a family. And if they want to be part of that, they know the price of admission." "Respect," Brian said. "It's a lot cheaper than a cruise," I pointed out. 3 weeks later, Linda called, not to apologize, but to complain that their mortgage payment was due and their usual help wasn't available. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said pleasantly. "Have you considered a financial advisor? I hear they're very helpful for outsiders." She hung up on me, but 2 months after that came a different call. Marcus, sounding older and tired. "Sarah, we owe you an apology, a real one. Could we take you and Brian to dinner? Our treat. And I mean, actually, our treat, not yours." It was a start, not a fairy tale ending where everyone suddenly becomes perfect, but a start. And for the first time in 8 years, I wasn't paying for it. The counseling sessions were harder than I expected, but worth every difficult conversation. Brian had to learn to see his family's behavior through my eyes, and I had to learn to trust that he would actually change. The postnuptial agreement was signed 4 months later, protecting both of us and ensuring that any future family financial decisions would be made together. 6 months later, I booked a cruise for Brian and me, a second honeymoon where I was actually wanted, actually welcome, actually family. We sent the Colemans a postcard from Santorini. "Wish you were here, but only if you really meant it." Because that's what family does. They mean it. And after 8 years of meaning it alone, I finally had a partner who meant it too. The view from our private balcony was spectacular, but not as spectacular as hearing Brian tell the couple at the next table. "This is my wife, Sarah. She's the best thing that ever happened to our family." Our family. 2 words that made a $25,000 cruise worth every penny, even if I was the only one paying for it. This time, by choice. As for Marcus and Linda, they've learned to treat me with genuine respect. Not because they need my money, but because they finally understand I'm not going anywhere, and neither is their son if they want him in their lives. It took 2 years, but our relationship is now built on mutual respect rather than financial transactions. Some lessons are expensive, but they're the ones that stick. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, 0 cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.